point of order, Mr. Morvai.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I just want to ask whether non-attached members of this Parliament and of this group can speak, because there was some misunderstanding regarding the agenda. We have the understanding that non-attached members cannot speak. The coordinator of the non-attached did write a letter to you, Mr. Chair, and I'm not aware of any answer. I'm a non-attached member of this Parliament from Hungary. I happen to be a human rights lawyer as well, so I insist on speaking. Otherwise, this whole meeting has no legitimacy at all, because you censor yourself. You are talking about censorship, and what you are doing is censorship in and of itself. Thank you. You might or might not be right, but because this is not a relationship between a colonizer and a colony when it comes to European Union and Hungary, let me, on behalf of many Hungarian people, test the arbitrariness of your laws. What kind of law it is that allows the European Union to intervene into the violation of human rights in Hungary now, when Hungary is in the presidency of the European Union, and it did not allow interference between 2006 and 2010, when there were mass violations of human rights, and there was a socialist liberal government in power who were, among other things, shooting on the 50th anniversary of the 1956 revolution into people's eyes. Several dozens of people were severely injured. Let me introduce a member of the government who was in power at that time, Ms. Kinga Göncz, who just spoke critically about the human rights experiences in Hungary. She happens to be the vice president of this very committee, the LIBE committee, which is supposedly responsible for human rights in the European Union. Let me ask the general public in the European Union, who most probably through the freedom of the press will ask this question and who will listen to this question: what legitimacy can a human rights committee have whose vice president is a member of the government who was shooting at its own peaceful demonstrators, and who put hundreds of people arbitrarily into prison, and who caused injuries to dozens of people? And the European Union didn't do anything whatsoever because it said that it's an internal affair. Please enlighten Hungarian people. What is the legal basis of interference now and non-interference then and ever since? You have never touched upon the issue of the mass violations of human rights of the socialist government between 2006 and 2010. And you owe an answer to the Hungarian public.
We have agreed to hear from the non-attached 2 minutes round, but just let me remind you.
Colleague Vice President of the Group of Socialists and Democrats, Hannest Swoboda.
Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Prime Minister, dear colleagues from the Presidency, President Barroso. Wir haben in dieser Woche die Gelegenheit.
This week we have the opportunity to compare two presidencies with each other. The one which has been completed and one which is just beginning. The Belgian presidency, I must say, did some excellent work. Thank you very much indeed. Obviously, the circumstances were difficult. The political situation is rather difficult at home. Lisbon, well, it's not easy to push through with that either. But there was a clear European line there. You wanted to move Europe forward. And from what we've seen of the Hungarian presidency so far, they're more concerned with what's happening back at home, hanging on to power, in other words, and with a very highly controversial media law, which we are going to discuss. Now, I listened carefully to what you were saying about the Belgian presidency, how that happened, and I hope that the Hungarian will take some of an example from that.
It's a blue card question, okay? Madam, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. May I ask you, sir, how do you dare criticizing the Hungarian presidency
when it is just starting. You don't even know anything about it. Why don't you instead criticize your comrades in the socialist group who were shooting at their own people on the 50th anniversary of the 1956 revolution and who put arbitrarily hundreds of people into prison? Ask them and criticize them. Thank you.
Well, yes, please, Mr. Vice President.
Well, I know these kind of arguments. You know, if you criticize the government, you criticize these people. This is the way I know it also from former times in my own country. But be clear, it was not us who started the debate. It was the Hungarian government with this, I said here, contested law. This is very much disputed by many Hungarian citizens. Many Hungarian citizens who suffered in communism, who suffered also in the Nazi regime, they are afraid that the expression and the liberty of expression is in danger. And that is the element and that you should take care of. Thank you very much.
Colleague Guy Verhofstadt, Liberals and Democrats, the President.